Thank you so much, Valeria. The 12th Annual Environmental Health Leadership Summit officially kicked off today. Our reporter Karina Basarte attended the first day of the event and shares why it's so important.
Locals and leaders at the Environmental Health Leadership Summit learned about the future projects coming to the Imperial Valley. The nonprofit organization Comité Cívico del Valle hosted a two-day annual summit at the Eucalyptus Schoolhouse in El Centro. The summit brought many locals and leaders together under the same topic, changing the valley.
The third year now, we've been able to bring the binational conversation. So we have representation from Mexicali, or I would rather say Baja California and Baja California Sur. So there's a lot of dialogue happening at the local micro level and at the macro level today.
During the summit, Comité Cívico presented locals with the first 40 initiative campaign. The campaign will bring the first 40 publicly available electric vehicle chargers to the valley. Comité Cívico's executive director says the summit also helps the community get access to the environmental experts.
Leaders and elders who have been in the movement for many decades, youth that are playing a major role in our conference this year.
The youngest attendee and panelist is only 16 years old, and she says caring about the future is her first priority.
Youngest in the building and being the youngest, being up on stage like that, but I think that really having the courage to speak about things that you feel like adults are maybe better educated about or have more experience in really inspires other youth to also do the same thing.
Now the event will continue tomorrow, and Comité Cívico says that Assembly Member Eduardo Garcia will be speaking at the event. Reporting from El Centro, I'm Karina Basarte.